On October 28, 2023, the world lost Matthew Perry, a beloved actor who played the sarcastic yet endearing Chandler Bing in the iconic sitcom Friends. The actor was discovered unresponsive and face down in the heated end of his pool. Emergency responders arrived at his Pacific Palisades home at 4:07 p.m., where they found him unconscious in a standalone jacuzzi. He was pronounced dead at 4:17 p.m. His personal assistant, who was the last person to see him alive, had left to run errands during the afternoon and returned at 4 p.m. to the devastating scene. In a surprising revelation, the autopsy report confirmed no presence of alcohol or illicit substances like methamphetamine or fentanyl in his system. His death remains a sobering reminder of life's fragility. The official reports point to an accidental drowning, but questions still remain. What really happened in Perry's final hours? Today we'll explore the timeline, sift through theories, and uncover what most likely led to Matthew Perry's tragic death. Matthew Perry was born on August 19, 1969, in Williamstown, Massachusetts, to Suzanne Morrison, who was a Canadian journalist, and John Bennett Perry, who was an actor. His parents divorced when he was just an infant. Growing up in Ottawa, Canada with his mother, Perry was a talented tennis player who also ranked among the top junior players in the country. However, his passion for entertainment ultimately took precedence when he moved to Los Angeles to pursue acting in the late 1980s. Matthew Perry began acting as a teenager. While he was still in high school, he secured his first film role, appearing alongside River Phoenix in the 1988 movie A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon. Unfortunately, this film did not do wonders in propelling his career as an actor. He was preparing to enroll in a university when another opportunity came his way when he was cast as the lead character, Chaz Russell, in the television series Second Chance. Perry's breakout came with Friends in 1994. As Chandler Bing, his impeccable comedic timing made him a household name. The sitcom is set in New York City and revolves around 6 young adults as they navigate their careers, relationships, and quest for personal fulfillment. Throughout its 10-season run, Friends earned numerous awards, and Matthew Perry was also nominated for an Emmy Award in 2002. Matthew Perry's portrayal in Friends made him a beloved figure, but his off-screen life told a much darker story. During the peak of the show's popularity, he quietly battled addiction, and by the early 2000s, his struggle with addiction became public knowledge. His weight fluctuations and absences from filming were often attributed to substance abuse issues. In 2018, his colon exploded, and he had a 2% chance of surviving the first night as a result of opiate consumption. This necessitated a 7-hour surgery. He survived, but remained in a coma for the next 2 weeks. Despite his personal battles, Perry used his platform to advocate for recovery. He opened a sober living home called Perry House in Malibu. He spoke candidly about his experiences with substance abuse in his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. On the morning of his death, Perry was reportedly in good spirits. His Friends co-star Jennifer Aniston said she had been in contact with Perry on the day of his death and said he was happy, he was healthy. He had recently finished a round of pickleball at the Riviera Country Club, a hobby he enjoyed immensely as part of his commitment to a healthier lifestyle. Security footage captured Perry returning to his Pacific Palisades home alone at around 2 p.m. His assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, noted that Perry spent the next couple of hours on routine tasks. At approximately 4 p.m., Iwamasa discovered Perry unresponsive in his hot tub and immediately called emergency services. Paramedics arrived at the scene within minutes. The Los Angeles Fire Department reported no signs of trauma or foul play. Perry was pronounced dead at 4:17 p.m. An initial assessment suggested drowning, but questions about what led to his sudden collapse persisted. According to post-mortem blood reports, he had high levels of ketamine in his system, which may have increased his heart rate and blood pressure and slowed his breathing. Ketamine is an anesthetic that is used to induce and sustain anesthesia. It is also utilized in pain management and as a depression treatment. Dr. Andrew Stolbach is a medical toxicologist with Johns Hopkins Medicine who reviewed the autopsy report. He said, "Using sedative drugs in a pool or hot tub, especially when you're alone, is extremely risky, and sadly, here it's fatal." Despite having a history of drug use, the actor has apparently been drug-free for 19 months. Dr. Ed Boyer, a professor of emergency medicine at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, said, considering his last ketamine therapy was at least a week before, misuse, even recreational use, cannot be ruled out. Initially, it appeared to be an accidental death due to his depression treatment with ketamine. However, the arrest of 5 individuals, including medical doctors, Perry's assistant, and an alleged drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, has revealed a vast underground ketamine dealing network, cover-up attempts, and another death linked to the same dealer. Dr. Salvador Plasencia is one of those accused who allegedly overcharged Perry for ketamine. Plasencia learned that Perry was in need of ketamine. On October 10th, Dr. Plasencia allegedly purchased 10 vials of ketamine from suspected co-conspirator Dr. Mark Chavez in order to sell them to Perry. Perry received roughly 20 vials of ketamine from the doctors between September and October at a cost of $55,000. Perry's assistant looked for another source of ketamine for his boss. He then contacted Perry's friend Eric Fleming, who in turn contacted Jasveen Sangha, a prominent underground dealer who had been dealing with ketamine for years. Court filings state that she had previously sold ketamine to a customer named Cody McClory, who overdosed and died, indicating that she was aware of the drug's risks. One of his family members texted her and said, "The ketamine you sold my brother killed him. It's listed as the cause of death." Eric Fleming, who was identified as the actor's acquaintance, was accused of acting as a middleman in the lethal ketamine conspiracy because he helped deliver ketamine vials to Iwamasa. Iwamasa was found to have injected Perry with ketamine multiple times daily, despite having no medical training. Authorities found text messages attempting to hide their actions following Perry's death, with Plasencia allegedly falsifying medical records. They used encrypted apps detailing the network they developed. The criminal probe included investigators from the Los Angeles Police Department, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the U.S. Postal Service. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada said, "The defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues." According to the plea agreement, Perry received at least 3 doses of ketamine from Iwamasa on the day of his death. On August 7, 2024, Perry's assistant pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine, which resulted in the actor's death. The plea agreement states that Iwamasa gave the actor 3 doses that day, at approximately 8:30 a.m. and 12:45 p.m. After administering the 3rd shot, he left to run errands and found Perry dead when he returned. Sangha has been charged with multiple counts, including conspiracy to distribute ketamine, maintaining a drug-involved premise, and possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine and ketamine. Dr. Salvador Plasencia faces charges of conspiracy to distribute ketamine and falsifying documents related to the federal investigation. Eric Fleming pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute ketamine and admitting to distribution resulting in death. Dr. Mark Chavez also agreed to a plea deal by pleading guilty to conspiracy to distribute ketamine. With Perry's death, speculation surged. Was it a tragic accident, a health complication, or something more sinister? Here are the prevailing theories. Accidental drowning. The initial official cause of death, as noted by the Los Angeles County coroner, was accidental drowning. This theory suggests Perry may have slipped underwater after experiencing a sudden medical emergency, such as fainting or a seizure. Drowning is not uncommon in hot tubs, especially for individuals with compromised health. The combination of elevated water temperature and prolonged immersion can lead to severe dehydration, causing blood pressure to drop. This induces dizziness, which can increase the likelihood of losing consciousness. However, skeptics question the lack of noise or visible struggle. Neighbors reportedly didn't hear anything unusual, raising doubts about whether this explanation tells the full story. Cryptic last posts. According to some conspiracy theorists, Perry's mysterious posts on social media prior to his passing suggested something darker. In a mysterious Instagram post 6 days prior to his death, Matthew Perry posted a picture of himself lounging in his hot tub with the Pacific Palisades lights glimmering in the distance, captioned, "Oh, so warm water swirling around makes you feel good." He was found dead in the same hot tub a few days later. Another theory suggests that Perry may have consumed toxic baneberries, which can result in cardiac arrest. This was based on Perry sharing a video of 3 berries with a statement that some took to be a cry for help, which helped spread disbelief. Some speculated that this was a strange premonition of Cranberries singer Dolores O'Riordan's own death, who had died by drowning as well. Cardiac arrest. Given Perry's history of health issues, including a burst colon in 2018 and years of opioid dependency, a cardiac event seems plausible. Hot tubs can place additional strain on the cardiovascular system by dilating blood vessels and increasing heart rate. Doctors have noted that individuals with a history of drug use, even if they have been long-term sober, remain at higher risk for heart conditions. Perry's sedentary lifestyle, despite his efforts to stay active, may have further contributed to his vulnerability. Murder. The website The People's Voice reported that the Los Angeles Police Department was looking into the death of actor Matthew Perry. According to the article, LAPD investigators say they believe Matthew Perry was murdered following revelations that the Friends star was about to name and shame elite pedophiles in Hollywood. According to this theory, in the months leading up to his passing, Perry was writing an expose that was rumored to delve deeply into the shadowy hidden corners of the Hollywood entertainment business and reveal the sinister secrets of the elite. However, there is also no credible evidence that Perry was getting ready to expose the Hollywood elite. Acute effects of ketamine. One of the more scientifically grounded theories involves the interaction of prescription medications. Toxicology reports revealed Perry had been taking antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. While these drugs were prescribed, their effects can be unpredictable, especially in combination. Adding to the complexity was Perry's reported use of ketamine therapy. Unregulated doses sourced outside clinical settings could amplify these risks. After analyzing the evidence and theories, the most plausible explanation is a combination of medical complications and environmental factors. Matthew Perry's tragic death was likely caused by the combined effects of ketamine and the physical stress of the hot tub environment. Ketamine was used as part of Perry's depression treatment and is known to cause dizziness and respiratory suppression, especially if given in high or improperly managed doses. On the day of his death, Perry's assistant administered 3 doses, which is an alarming frequency outside of a clinical setting. The hot tub exacerbated these risks. Prolonged immersion in heated water dilates blood vessels, lowers blood pressure, and increases dehydration. This deadly combination likely led to unconsciousness and drowning. The involvement of untrained individuals like Iwamasa in administering ketamine and evidence from text messages and falsified medical records suggests a blatant disregard for Perry's safety and further illustrates how Perry fell victim to this greed-driven exploitation. While alternative theories like murder or intentional overdose make for gripping speculation, they lack substantive evidence. The accidental drowning theory was partially valid, but is still incomplete without acknowledging the role of ketamine and the criminal negligence that surrounded its administration. This sobering conclusion highlights the risks of poorly managed treatments and the need for accountability in handling addiction and mental health issues. Did you agree with our analysis? Did we miss anything? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.